everybody, hope you're well and good. It has been a while since we have streamed, been a little while actually since I've released some videos on YouTube. Sorry about that, I will do a separate vlog and explain all of that. Long story short, summer, having some time away, time off, chilling out, and then a new job. Another one, but we'll go into that in a little bit. Anyway, today you are here for none other than the Grand Tournament. It is live, it's the 25th of August, and as is traditional, as I shut my window to cancel out a little bit of the screaming children outside. The Grand Tournament's been out since last night, UK time. Obviously, whenever a new expansion releases, Blizzard pretty busy making sure everyone can get onto the servers, so I couldn't quite get on last night, but we are on tonight to have a look for you. So what we're going to do is probably two-part. We are going to be jumping on in and just opening a bunch of packs, and we'll talk through the cards as we go. Now, some of you have probably tuned into our first videos. While the first lot of the Grand Tournament cards were being released from late July onwards, we were doing videos covering them all, and then naturally for the last couple of weeks I've been quiet, so there have been some that I've missed but seen in spoilers, and some that we've already covered on videos. So I'm going to try and move reasonably quickly through ones we've covered that I believe aren't going to be hugely impactful. And a big welcome to Seasedge, PG, Tilly, good to see Mucho Random, as well as Pulmar and all of the others joining us live on stream. Castorella, hello to you as well. We're of course live, twitch.tv/FailCraft Cast for those on YouTube. So let's get stuck in. Ooh. I like that, a nice little teaser for opening your first Grand Tournament pack there, which is very, very awesome indeed. So let's get stuck in. So the Grand Tournament. I'm going to give a quick overview of the Grand... Oh wow, look at those fancy colours. Look, does that mean... That's the rare. Okay, so remember, of course, all two rares, very nice. So I'm going to give you a really, really quick summary of the Grand Tournament for those of you who know nothing about it. The Grand Tournament, new expansion, about 136 cards, has some new mechanics. Blizzard had a couple of design philosophies with this expansion. Number one, they wanted to do a new kind of card mechanic, and we have Inspire. Now, Inspire, if you see Inspire in a card, what that means is whenever you use a hero power, this happens. That's pretty much Inspire. So whenever you use a hero power, this effect takes place. That is it. Number two, the other thing that they've introduced is kind of a joust. So what happens is that you both have to draw a minion. If you see this effect on a card, you both have to draw a minion, and it's kind of a jousting style mechanic, even though it's not called joust on the card. And when you both draw a minion, it's generally something like if someone has a higher mana cost than X. So what happens with those? You both got to draw a minion, you both got to reveal. If one of you can't reveal a minion, you lose that joust. If both of you draw, then I think the person you're competing against wins. So if you play the card and you draw in terms of mana cost or the value, then someone wins something. And hello to Erdem, very good to see you as well, Erdem. Really great to see everyone turning out. Let's jump on in. So that is our two quick things on the Grand Tournament. Remember Inspire. Remember Joust. And Blizzard, as a third kind of design mechanic, wanted to engage a bit more with hero powers. They wanted to be able to do fun new things with hero powers, buff hero powers, reduce hero powers, and all kinds of things. People are already speculating 50 pre-purchase packs, 3 legendaries. Some people have said, my best pack last night was 4 rares and an epic, a golden healing wave. Craziness. These are my first packs, so let's go. Flash Heal, restores 5 health. A lovely little card, and this will get used because of some of the new cards that I saw in the spoilers. I'm just going to turn up this volume a bit so we can hear the sounds in all of their glory. But I like Flash Heal. This will see use, really good mana efficient heal, and there are cards that this goes so well with. Imagine Orkanai Soul Priest. If that's on the table, this deals 5 damage, but interesting. It's not restore 5 health to your hero, it's just restore 5 health. So I'm guessing you can deal damage to start with. Gadgets and Jouster. There you go, there's the Joust mechanic. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, gain 1/1. It's an okay early game card. Undercity Valiant, combo of dealing 1 damage, a 2/3/2. This is kind of a nice transitioning rogue card. You can combo to deal 1 damage, helps a bit of removal. The 2/3/2 card is a nice rogue specific starter. We call that kind of set of stats a solid minion. It's something like our Lord and Master Acidic Swamp Ooze. It's something like the Bloodfen Raptor, something you can throw into play and does nice early damage. A golden rare, Savage Combatant. So not only is that a lovely little golden card, but I like this card. Give your hero 2 attack this turn, and remember Inspire, whenever you use your hero power, give your hero 2 attack this turn. So if I use my hero power as a druid, I get 1 attack, 1 armor, and then suddenly my hero gets 3 attack and 1 armor. great. As long as the Savage Combatant stays in play, then I can keep using that, and my Druid hero power is very strong. This card's strong in itself, good stats. 4/4/4 would be balanced to us, a strong card. 4/5/4 is good, the hero power, beneficial. I can see Druids using their hero power a lot more. And a nice little rare to finish, the Argent Lance. Reveal a minion if yours costs more 1 durability. So that's an okay card for Paladins in the early game to start combating aggro. The additional durability lets you start attacking aggro. This is to help Paladins survive in the early game without using minions. Okay, so there's our first start. Let's get into our second Fancy Pants pack. Flash Heal, I like Flash Heals. Clockwork Knight, there we go. Someone mentioned they got 8 Clockwork Knights. Castorella says I've got 8 Clockwork Knights in my first 5 packs. Give friendly mech 1/1. This I feel is alright. There are cards like the Priest mech that have got similar stats and then gives a minion +5 health or something similar. There are cards of this nature for mechs that are more powerful. But a friendly mech 1/1 is not bad. This is reasonable. It will see play and draft. It's okay in mech decks to extend them into the mid game a bit more. Alright. Fetching Coach, the next time you use your hero power it costs 2 less. This is a one-off effect. You can play free hero power as a 3/2/2. This is not, you know, the effect of that. Letting you play a free hero power. Most hero powers in their basic state are okay. A free totem, of course you always like something free. So it is paying 1 mana. Really what you're doing here is paying 1 mana extra, if you think of it like that, to get a 2/2 minion and then play your hero power for free. So if you think about that in a purely mana sense on turn 3, this will let you not only play a minion but play your hero power. But would you rather play something else costing 3 mana? Without having seen the meta and fully worked out how it works out. And remember, of course, not only am I a week or so behind on the new cards and the theory crafting, but the meta is going to shake out in the next few weeks. I've just opened 2 cards there. Buccaneer, whenever you equip a weapon, give it 1 attack. This is alright, it's going to die fast. This, as a rogue, will help you have your 2 attack, 2 durability hero power on turn 2, rather than 1 attack, 2 durability. So again, that helps a rogue attack minions more with face. So not bad, no bit of control. Powered Glory I like. Choose a minion whenever it attacks, restore 4 health to your hero. This almost made me think of like, combo this with an Organized Soul Priest and tanks, and then your opposing minion can't attack, otherwise it's going to do lots of damage to their own hero, which sounds like hilarious fun. So if I play this on an opposing minion when I've got Organized Soul Priest, very, very, very cool. I think there's going to be fun things that can be done with Power Word Glory. Not just restoring loads of health to your hero, which is great. I love that. That's a really strong 1 mana card. Think of it as the Paladin Blessing that lets you draw cards. Very awesome. But turbocharged Spell Slinger. Random spell to each player's hand. This is not awful. The stats of the card are fine. The ability, you don't know what we're going to do with it. A little bit random for my taste. There we go. Good perhaps if you're playing things like the mage card, I've totally forgotten its name now. The one that every time you do a spell, throw a spell down, it does 2 damage. You know what I mean. The Doomguard, this is just a fairly average Warlock minion, I think. For the 7 mana, it's low attack, it's slightly high health. Nice tank you can throw down, sort of specific Warlock mid to late game card, but again, one of those cards where you think, I could probably do similar with other cards. In a hand lock, it's kind of another nice target in the mid to late game for your tanking if you want. It's got a higher health pool, but Sludges, Belcher and things will still be pretty strong. Flame Lance Mage, deal 8 damage to a minion. That's pretty straightforward. Mana efficient damage there. Spell power makes that very nasty. Good at nuking legendaries perhaps. Maybe you can splash it as a control card. Mookless Champion, give your other minions 1/1. This I like. The Inspire of giving your other minions 1/1. I see this coming in with lots of token decks. Now, you will see 2 different kinds of decks. I think we're going to see a Paladin kind of token deck, because there are so many things that help Silverhand recruits, the 1/1s that Paladin summon. There's so many things in the Grand Tournament that help tokens, those 1/1 minions, things that Violet Teachers summon, become so strong. And also imps as well. So Warlocks, Violet Teacher, inspired spell type decks, Paladins. We're going to see a little bit more, I think, of token rushing and token play, which will be really, really interesting. Mookless Champion is a good example of this. Give your other minions 1/1, and that's Inspire. Every time you hit your hero power, your minions get 1/1. If I have a board of tokens, I play a Quartermaster as a paladin, and suddenly all of my Silverhand Knights are 3/3. If I hit my hero power, summon another token, and then make all of my minions 4/4 with a Mookless Champion on maybe the next turn. It's not a bad neutral, this. The health pool is low, understandably so, because the effect is strong. It can't stay on the table for too long, otherwise it'll be hero power, buff, 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 buff. So I like this. You know, in theory, it feels good. Void Crusher, inspire, destroy a random minion for each player. I feel that, as well as probably with the massive fun that people have with Unstable Portal, I feel that throwing out a Void Crusher is just crazy. Now, can Void Crusher destroy itself? I would imagine that it can. It's a random minion. It doesn't say apart from Void Crusher. A big welcome to Zano and all of you joining in. It's really good to see you, as I said earlier. And Mouldy, hello to you. Really, really good to see you. It has been a while since I've been streaming. I will explain that in the chat or elsewheres. So, Void Crusher, pretty random. Can use it as control. Hey, if there's a big board against you and you're throwing out hero powers, I think the Warlock with a penchant for trouble will very much enjoy this. Bosh. A Flame Juggler, 1 damage to a random enemy. I'd call that okay. The stats are strong, and then the 1 damage to a random enemy will help you thin out a bit. But who knows how that'll fit in with other cards. Clockwork Knight again. We've covered a Cut Purse. Whenever this minion attacks a hero, I like this. Add the coin to your hand. Your opponent, when they see this, are going to quickly remove this. Quite quickly. See you, Adam. Good to have you with. Hopefully see you again soon. Whenever you attack, adding a coin to your hand is, of course, brilliant. This is ramping you as a druid. As a druid, sorry. It's ramping you like a druid. You're able to play more quickly. More dangerous cards more quickly. It's very, very awesome. But your opponent will nuke it. So if I throw this down and my opponent probably could remove it. If my opponent's gone first, they're probably going to remove it turn 3. If I've gone first, my opponent may have a way of removing it. It's quite a threat, that. I'd expect people to nuke it, but it may just force people playing rogues to deal with it on turn 2, otherwise it could spiral out of control. So by the very, very sort of nature of having it in your deck, you're forcing your opponent to deal with it early, which in itself is a form of control. It's a form of interrupting your gameplay and really sort of putting your opponent on the back foot. The Orgrimmar Aspirant, inspiring, giving a weapon 1 attack. Well, armour up, give you a weapon 1 attack. I like that. As a warrior, this can probably fit into an arms/weapon-based warrior. That would be very, very fun indeed. Pretty strong. And then we have Bash, deal 3, gain 3. This is another form of early game warrior control, and of course warriors we're using sort of a... I can actually play the saxophone, but not now. Seriously, I can actually play the saxophone. The world does need more sax. I very much agree with that. Bash is another form of control. I said warriors used to play cleave, and then that wasn't quite so effective, and then they've been experimenting in terms of Blizzard cards with all these other kinds of warrior early game control. Will this make a control warrior? I don't know. Could it be a useful addition in forms of other bits of mean? What does the coin mean on the cut purse? I think it just means the coin, like the coin for going turn 2. I think that's what it means. So Bash, I feel, will get some uses. Bosh. Fearsome Doomguard, we have covered. A rare, we have drawn. Tuskar Jouster, I like this card. It just feels fun. Reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, to restore 7. So the real thing is, how does this go against an Antique Hillbot? Remember, an Antique Hillbot, higher mana cost than this. Not as useful a minion with the 5/5. Restores 8 health. So the Hillbot gives you the guaranteed heal. And Paladins need those early to mid-game heals a bit before that lay on hands late game. So the healbots, Antique Healbot has often come into mid-range Paladins so far. Now, if yours costs more, if you've got big late-game minions left, that heal is good. It gives you a great heal, and it also gives you a 5/5 minion. So can you find a deck that gives you on balance the ability of this minion costing more than your opponents? If you draw a cheap minion and your opponent beats you, then it's worthless, and you've got a 5/5/5. But there are better 5-drop minions you probably just play as a mid-range Paladin or as a Paladin deck. However, if you can somehow engineer having bigger late-game cards, then Tuskar Jouster could be a good friend to you. I seem to be getting a lot of Fearsome Doom cards. Living Roots, deal 2 damage or summon 2/1/1 saplings. So I think with this expansion, off the top of my head, Blizzard are trying to look at a few more sort of forms of early game control. They're trying to find ways that decks that early morning have been, you know, in the early sort of morning, I don't know why I said early morning. I'm not even going to try and start my way out of that one. In the early part of the game, have been struggling a bit with control or having to use hard control in the form of, you know, minions rather than actually using abilities. Living Roots, the 2/1/1 saplings is okay in this new token sort of meta. Might be useful having lots of tokens on the board early to be able to buff them in a little bit. And then finally a Clockwork Knight. We'll see how useful Living Roots is. Okay. Wrathguard. When this minion takes damage, also deal that amount to your hero. So it's typical Warlock risk and reward. This is great early game pressure, but if your opponent damages this back, you're going to take at least 3 damage to your hero. Really, this helps. You know, I can see this going in Zeus. Yeah, it's just, you don't mind too much if you're taking the damage as long as your opponent is forced to kill this and you will take 3, but you could hit them for 4. I feel that's a strong early game pressure piece for Wrathguard. And for Warlock, definitely. That will see play, probably in Zoos and similar. Power Glory, I love the terrible pun of Silent Knight. Holy Knight. Stealth and Divine Shield. I like it, it's strong. You can throw it as a neutral. It will see a lot of play in Arena. You can throw it down, it will live. May even see some play in Druid decks. There's a card that can be thrown down, very much like I'm going to call it, it's in Karazhan, it's the Shade of Naxxramas. The cards that throw down and then get kind of pressured and buffed, and then there's the Force of Nature Savage Rule combo. Mustjouster, minion in each deck of yours costs more, gain Taunt and Divine Shield. That's alright. The effect of it triggers makes it pretty strong, but again, there might be better 6 drops you can play. Tuskar Totemic. I want to quickly go over this because the new Shaman cards, pardon me, are pretty cool. The Shaman cards give you a good ramp into Shamans and make Totem Shaman decks a thing. I think Totemic Shamans we're going to see, as well as token Paladins and other token decks for sure. So, take a look at this. Summon any random totem. Remember that Shamans have already got Bloodlust in their armory. All minions on the table, plus 3 attack. Very awesome. And then there are other cards that trigger off you having totems on the table. 3/3/2, this is a solid enough minion. Any random totem. I need to double check the ruling on this as to whether it can summon things like Flame Tongue. Not just the Shaman summons, but any card that is classified as a totem. And there are new totems as well. So I like the Tuskar Totemic. It's helping you ramp into a very big amount of Shaman early game board control. Silent Knight, Holy Knights, and an epic Dark Bargain for the Warlock. Destroy 2 enemy minions and discard 2 random cards. Now remember, you've got things like Twisting Nether. There are a lot of high cost Warlock cards that let you do a little bit of controlling. This, well, if your opponent's got loads of Legendaries out, this could, for the 2 cards, totally swing board control in your favour, providing you don't lose anything too useful. I think this will see play, particularly if Warlocks are trying to play lots of late game. The meta is late game. We'll see that played. Now I really like this card. Destroy all minions except each player's highest attack minion. I said we had a token meta. So the token meta, if people are going to try and sort of fill the board, or as Paladin hard control. Paladins, of course, once you've used your Consecrates, once you've used your Equalities, everyone's health at 1 and then doing damage across the whole board. This gives Paladins an additional form of very strong control, actually. Each player's highest attack minion, of course, you can wreck everything on the table. And then if you've got something that will let you take out that last minion, if it's big, like a big game hunter or something like that, then that could be very awesome indeed. We'll see play, I think, depending on how the meta shifts out. Tournament's attendee, a very average early game taunt, I would say. Demon Fuse, give a Demon 3/3, give your opponent a mana crystal. There are other cards that buff demons better, that don't mean giving your opponent a mana crystal, or they buff your minions by an acceptable amount in other situations without giving your opponent that advantage. So I like the fact that there are more things you can do demons. I don't like the fact you have to give your opponent a mana crystal. Very, very dangerous indeed. Lance Carrier, friendly minion 2 attack. This is alright. May help a little bit in Zeus. But of course, people were playing the Abusive Sergeant before, which is a 2/1 friendly minion to attack. This is a 1/2. It'll probably live a bit longer, maybe get a buff effect. So maybe this will try and replace an Abusive Sergeant. Unless the Abusive Sergeant, of course, is 1 mana. I can't even remember. Colosseum Manager. This is a weird one. Whenever you use your hero power, return this minion to your hand. If I throw this on the table, if I trade, inspire, play it, trade, inspire, it might help you mop up a bit of aggro. That was the bouncing use I was thinking for that. Seal of Champions. Give a minion 3 attack and Divine Shield. Pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. I think that will see maybe a little play, particularly in your aggressive charge paladin deck. If I'm buffing all my little minions, we've covered Spell Slinger and Light's Champion. Battle Cry of Silencing a Demon. Okay, that's pretty situational. Pretty situational. I'd call that alright. Wormrest Agent. If you're holding a dragon, gain 1 attack and taunts. 2/4 and taunt. This is the Priest Dragony thing that came out with Blackrock Mountain with the little whelps. Priest Dragons, we'll see. Priests do play a bunch of dragons, but this puts you along more of a dragon focus. Cover the Tuskar Totemic, cover the Tournament Attendee. Totem Golem, there you go. That's our second piece about this Shaman deck. So I can throw this down with a 1 overload. Look at that. For a totem, it is actual totem. Summon any random totem. Need to check the ruling on if you could summon a totem golem, but that's awesome. Overload of 1 for a 2 mana, 3 attack, 4 health minion. That really helps Shaman grab the board, and that's a very tempting turn 2 play to help you particularly mop up against aggro, where Shamans sometimes have to wait for Lightning Storm. Very nice indeed. We've covered the Orgrimmar Aspirant, so let's turbo through. Dalaran Aspirant. Everyone is very aspiring to greater and higher things. Inspiring, gaining spell damage +1. Play it, hero power for your mage. This will live a reasonable amount of time. If you're using a hero power every turn, this could get real nasty real fast if you can protect the Dalaran Aspirant from getting killed. And the 5 health will help towards that. So maybe there'll be some spelly and Yuki type decks. Nice. Pit Fighter. 5/5/6. That's just an overall solid neutral. 6 health makes it better than its cost. We'll see play in arena certainly. A Frigid Snowbolt. Oh dear. Spell damage 1, and very interesting that it's got huge health and low attack. It's kind of a weird card that, like some other cards, needs to be buffed with, let's say, a Sudden Fury or something like a Defender of Argus. There you go. I've got the name. Void Crusher, we have covered, and a Lowly Squire. Inspire, gain 1 attack. Well, you can see we've got a lot of these little kind of tournament-y related style minions, 1 and 2 drops, that will sort of buff each other, and they're kind of almost like a family. They're almost like a tribe in that if you play all these little New Argent tournament minions together, they'll buff each other and help them sort of get stronger. King's Elec, there we go. For hunters, reveal a minion in each deck. If yours costs more, draw it. Well, for hunters, that's not so bad. This is not awful in a rush hunter. It's a beast. It will help you trigger your other beast-led hunter abilities, or maybe a mid-range hunter. This is a good bridging card if you've got big beasts. And I think that with the hunter class, we've been looking to try, Blizzard-wise, we've been looking to try and grab a whole bunch of stuff. So they've been trying to grab things, I think, that make a late-game hunter a little bit more viable. And that can certainly help you pull a Gazira or something. King's Defender, I thought this was better than it was. If you have a minion with Taunt, gain 1 durability. So if but warriors seldom play early-game taunting cards to make this worthwhile. Remember a Fury War Axe 2/3/2. That you get a 3/3/2 and only a potential of that 1 durability if you have an early game taunt. So that's almost like throw out an early game taunt, play King's Defender, and then you have the ability with King's Defender a turn later to start mopping up the aggro. So it's kind of an alternative. I'm not sure how much that will actually sort of work with that. Bear Trap, I like this. The fact that although it's a bear trap, the text is kind of, I can't wait to see what the spoiler text is for this card. Sorry, the flavor text. After your hero is attacked, it's literally a bear that's a trap. You summon a 3/3 bear with taunt. So would I rather have that than an explosive trap in some situations? Yes, actually. This gives hunters a hard defensive bear with taunt, which is really, really awesome. Really love it. Very, very cool. So I think people will play this, and equally remember that bear will be a beast, and Hunter's beast benefits. So Hunter's got some nice new tools. Tournament Medic, Inspire, restore 2 health for other classes that have problems with healing and will hit their hero power. Imagine throwing that maybe as a tech in like a hunter. You throw that down and then you're using your hero power and just healing and healing. And your opponent has to think, right, well, my opponent's just going to slowly heal up. If I play that behind a tank, it's even better. People will try and play this. Without having seen the meta, let's see how it's going to work. I like the look of Bear Trap. Everyone in chat is feeling Bear Trap. I definitely feel Bear Trap. Gadgets and Jouster, we have covered. Okay. This will not be... We'll go for our usual half-hour stream, or we'll get through all these packs. But this will get quicker as we cover more cards. We may not have time to jump into deck and ladder play today, but if not, we will do that tomorrow or in more streams later this week. So do not worry. If we only open the packs today, then we'll be doing very well. Sideshow Spell Eater. Battlecry, copy your opponent's hero power. All classes. A solid minion in itself, and I feel that that could be an interesting tick to cause chaos, and I feel that hunters may regret this one. Remember that hunters rushing you down need to hit that hero power. What if I change my hero power into steady shot? I feel that could be evil. Argent Lance we covered. Silent Knight we have covered. Pit Fighter we have covered. And Ancestral Knowledge. Now this is interesting. I'm not, to be honest with you, the most heavy Shaman player. I'm just going to show something. If you're a Counter-Strike fan, you'll know what that means. Little interlude from Hearthstone. But Ancestral Knowledge, draw 2 cards, overload of 2 mana. Shamans like a bit more card draw unless you can get your mana tied out, and drawing and drawing and drawing and drawing. That would be very, very awesome. But 2 cards for an overload of 2, that is really slowing you down. And unless you can Lava Shock after that to reset, you're kind of disabling yourself for pretty much no turn 3. So are those 2 cards worth you not playing a turn 3? Potentially so. It's a good draw, but it's kind of slow. And a big welcome to Jimothy. Very, very good to see you. Easy Legend, easy life. Yu-Gi-Oh! What is this? Hang on a second, hang on a second. Yu-Gi-Oh! Please. Please. There you go, serious business. Right, Maiden of the Lake. Your hero power costs 1. Now this was interesting. Remember I said Blizzard were trying to play with these hero powers a bit more. 2 attack, 6 health. It's going to stick around for a little while at turn 4, but then you can kind of play more hero powers. There are cards as well, like I think it's the Coldara Drake for Mage, that let you use your hero power more than once. We'll come on to that without spoiling. So okay, people will try and abuse it. I'm not sure if it can be abused in a good way. Under City of Valiant we have covered. Darnassus Aspirant. I found this interesting. So remember that Druids at the moment ramp. You can play things like Wild Growth and other kind of things. I'm kidding. Hey, I used to play a bunch of Pokemon. There's nothing wrong with any card game. I love all card games. So if you Yu-Gi-Oh, you go for it. I played a lot of Pokemon. I cannot say that Pokemon is morally superior to Yu-Gi-Oh or any such thing. Yu-Gi-Oh is still a very popular card game, of course. Let's not forget that whatsoever. I think it's physically it's Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon and Magic, the 3 most still well sold and popular card games. So all good. Darnassus Aspirant. We were talking about Druid ramping before I went on a tangent. I'm thinking World of Warcraft. So this gives you a soft ramp. Now Druids would not struggle in the early game, but they would have to use things like Wrath. They'd have to use spells. They didn't really have hard early game trading options to fight for control in the table in the early game without throwing down spells. And if they wanted to ramp, it was a bit more risky. Now I think Darnassus will see play, because this gives you a temporary ramp. You gain an empty mana crystal until the card dies, and then you lose a mana crystal. What if you gain an empty mana crystal and then silence the Darnassus Aspirant so it doesn't have a death rattle? You gain the mana crystal permanently. Now, do you want to play a 2-drop Iron Beak Owl or something just to silence this card? Probably not. That's probably not the most efficient thing. But I like the thought that this is another kind of, that's what Puelmar's just said. I totally agree with you, Puelmar. He said that in chat. I agree. I just don't know whether the mana cost is worth the extra mana. But if you can play this, your opponent does not kill it. 3 health is quite strong. And then you lose that mana crystal. I think, this is going to see some play, because Wild Growth effectively kills your turn. You get that ramp of the crystal, but then you lose the turn. This lets you also benefit from the turn by having the minion, which is pretty cool as well. So want to play with that. And generally, just everyone class-wise seems to be. We've got all of these aspirants. I'm sure these are just the contenders coming from all different areas of the tournament. We've covered Seal of Champions tournament attendee. We have covered Totem Golem. We've also covered Powered Glory. We have also covered, and the Draenei Totem Carver. That actually completes our Tale of Shaman. So that is pretty cool. So remember we were saying that totems were sort of coming together. And you could do this totem thing. I feel that there's going to be a totem type deck that coughs. I feel there's going to be some kind of totem type deck that builds the board early and starts bloodlusting. A really simple archetype for you guys to play with if you get these cards. Now look at this. We have played like the Tuskar Totemic. We've got a free totem on the board. We've thrown out our hero power from another totem. Suddenly we're on turn 4. And then we gain 1/1 for each friendly totem. We could have a couple of totems on the table by this point. And then suddenly we have a 5/5 for 4 mana. Or 6/6 for 4 mana if you've got 2 totems on the table. And suddenly turn 4, we've built a horrible board that our opponent is looking at. And then turn 5 onwards or similar, we can then bloodlust and start throwing chunks of damage down. Really interesting. So look out for Shaman Totem decks, I feel. Pro Vulture. Your hand is empty, do 2 damage to the enemy hero. This is kind of like Quick Shot. Is it worth